Hello everyone, my name is Stepheni and I'll be presenting my undergraduate dissertation research titled Modern Loneliness, which examines loneliness as predicted by social media addiction and behaviors within the context of the UAE. To begin with a small background, social media platforms continue to gather large amounts of users worldwide. One reason for this popularity could be because social media platforms allow certain social media behaviors, namely interaction, browsing, and broadcasting. However, an over-engagement in these behaviors have led to a rise of problematic social media use, namely social media addiction, and this in turn has impacted the well-being of its users. One such area that is impacted by social media addiction is an individual's perceptions of loneliness. In order for an individual to not feel lonely, they would have to feel connected to other people, and this connection is what is allowed by most social media platforms. However, there continues to be a rise of loneliness worldwide, raising questions regarding the purpose and influence of social media on feelings of loneliness. Past research has shown that social media interaction through the form of likes and comments, as well as social media broadcasting through the form of uploading posts or statuses, have led to an increased sense of belonging in those who engage in these behaviors, and as a result, decreases loneliness levels. On the other hand, social media browsing through the form of viewing profiles or posts made by others has led to increase in behaviors such as upward social comparison and negative emotions such as envy, which in turn has increased loneliness levels. Likewise, social media addiction has been shown to increase loneliness levels, as those who are addicted to social media are more likely to substitute their offline relationships to spend more time online, thus making them feel disconnected. A majority of this past research has been conducted in Western environments, and there has been a lack of research regarding these variables within the context of the UAE, despite the UAE having a high percentage of its population as avid social media users. Additionally, a large amount of social media users are young adults who have generally been shown to have changes in their loneliness levels. Moreover, as we are in a period of suggested social isolation due to the global pandemic, research has shown that there has been an increase in the frequency of social media use, addiction, and loneliness levels worldwide. Taking these into consideration, the current research aimed to observe the effects of social media behaviors and addiction on loneliness levels amongst the young adults in the UAE during the time of COVID-19. Therefore, two main hypotheses were presented. The first hypothesis was that all social media behaviors, specifically increased browsing, decreased interaction, and broadcasting, would significantly contribute to increased levels of loneliness. The second hypothesis was that social media addiction would significantly contribute to greater feelings of loneliness. In order to test this, a regression design was utilized. A total of 177 young adults who are living in the UAE and are avid social media users were selected for the study. A majority of the participants were female and of Asian ethnicity. All participants were given 3 standardized questionnaires: the UCLA Loneliness Scale, the Bergen Social Media Addiction Scale, and the Social Media Behavior Scale. All data collected was analyzed using a hierarchical regression consisting of 2 blocks, with the social media behaviors in the first block and the behaviors along with addiction in the second block. The correlation matrix indicated a significant negative relation between social media interaction and loneliness. Additionally, it also showed a significant positive relation between social media addiction, browsing, and broadcasting. Altogether, the variables accounted for 7.6% of variance in loneliness levels amongst the participants. Collectively, the social media behaviors accounted significantly for 6.9% of variance in loneliness amongst the participants. However, the individual coefficients suggested that only social media interaction significantly and negatively predicted loneliness levels, while social media browsing and broadcasting were non-significant contributors. When social media addiction was added to the second block, there was a significant increase of 1% of variance added to loneliness. However, social media addiction by itself was not a significant contributor to loneliness. Out of all the hypotheses, only social media interaction significantly predicted loneliness levels amongst the participants. As the current study was conducted during a time of suggested social isolation due to the pandemic, it is likely that social media interactions were a substitute for offline relationships. And as a result, individuals who did not engage in this behavior were more likely to feel disconnected and lonely. Social media browsing did not significantly contribute to loneliness levels amongst the participants. According to past research, one justification for this finding could be the kind of content that the participants view during their browsing sessions. Individuals who are less likely to view personal content during their browsing times are less likely to be emotionally involved and as a result can maintain neutral loneliness levels. Social media broadcasting was also a non-significant contributor to loneliness levels. According to past research, one reasoning behind this could be the intentions users have while posting. Individuals who are not expectant of others interacting with their post are more likely to maintain neutral feelings of loneliness, and this may have been the case with the current sample. A surprising finding through this research was the non-significant contribution of social media addiction to loneliness levels. However, these findings could be because of the demographic distribution of our population. The current study consisted of a large sample of female and Asian participants. According to past research, individuals of both these demographics are said to have a stronger support system, and as a result, they are able to maintain their loneliness levels better than others. The current study had a key number of strengths. Firstly, it added on to limited research that was present regarding social media behaviors and loneliness, especially within the context of the UAE. Additionally, the questionnaires used for the study had a good internal consistency, allowing a good reliability for the data to be assumed. Furthermore, the study considered a broad range of social media platforms, allowing the results to be more generalized to different platforms. However, there were a few limitations of the study. One key limitation was the uneven distribution of the demographics of the sample used. Likewise, the study only considered a few social media behaviors. Future research could take these current limitations into consideration and have a more even distribution of demographics of participants, as well as include social media behaviors such as video calls, as recent research has shown that these behaviors decrease loneliness levels. Additionally, future research could benefit from a mixed methods research as it would allow a deeper understanding of the intentions and reasoning behind individuals' engagement in certain social media behaviors and how they deal with their loneliness. The findings of the current study can help direct social media users to engage in social media behaviors that can help limit their loneliness levels, especially during the time of COVID-19. Additionally, while it wasn't the focus of the current study, this study found that social media addictions, behavior, and browsing are significantly and positively correlated. These findings can help deconstruct problematic social media use and help implement interventions that can help prevent social media addiction in the future. To conclude, the findings showed that social media interaction was the only significant contributor to loneliness levels among social media users in the UAE. The research also highlighted that there could have been individual differences in engagements of social media behaviors and how they deal with loneliness, which could have impacted the findings of the current study. Finally, implications of the findings were suggested. Here are the references that were used through this presentation. Finally, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to showcase my undergraduate dissertation research at your prestigious event.